I want you guys to remember is that, nobody really remembers, and anybody who's been in a long relationship or had long friendships like this, nobody really remembers, what you tell them. But they do remember how you made them feel. Everybody agree with that? I see some nice things. You remember, how you're made to feel. And this is what we want to do with our Facebook. So when you're building your page, and just, today I'm not really going to be talking about ads too much. At the end, if we have some time for Q&A, we'll talk about more ads. I'm really talking about Facebook page management, community management. I'm talking about putting posts on there that are going to hopefully, delight your customers and your community, or surprise them, or, add value in some way. And adding value can be in lots of different ways. It can make them laugh. It can make them touched in some way. And if you notice on Facebook, show of hands here, people who are on Facebook. I only see one person who's not. Is that you? How dare you? Shame on you. Well, maybe after today, maybe we'll get you up on Facebook. Do you have a business?
Well, I have Facebook page, but I deleted it.
Okay.
Good time, yeah.
You have a Facebook page for your business, but then you deleted it.
No, that's for business for myself.
For yourself, okay. Well, if you have a business, you don't have to have one personally, but I think that if you have a business, it's important to have a Facebook page today, as you can see by the show of hands. And we'll just continue on. We're going to talk a little bit about why it's important. So today we're going to go through a quick intro. I think we already did that. You can skip through that one. We don't need to hear who I am. But here, this just gives some perspective of users on Facebook to populations in the world. That's a crap load of people that's on Facebook, and it's growing every single day. And if we go to the next slide, here's another reason to do on Facebook. Facebook is an amazing place to be doing advertising today. It's really extremely cost effective comparatively to some of the other places that you can do advertising today. So, and with the ability today that what you can do on Facebook, where on advertising we can take the exact demographic that buys from you. If it's, I heard moms back there, right? I think I heard, or parents. You can select and target people exactly by parents, their age, what kind of children they have, whether it's, newborns, soon-to-bes, 1 to 3 toddlers, or 1 to 4 toddlers. You can zero right in. Not only that, you can zero in on their income. Can they afford your services? So it's really cool stuff that you can do on Facebook. So today, I'd really recommend that if you don't have Facebook in your marketing mix, it's definitely something that you're going to want to add in. So EdgeRank. So we're going to talk a little bit about EdgeRank today. I know there's a lot of people out there that think that EdgeRank is kind of dead. Does anyone here know? Just show of hands of people who know what EdgeRank is. Oh, okay, so there's only 3 or 4 people. So this is good. So we're gonna talk about this a little bit. EdgeRank basically is kind of like Facebook's organic reach. So with like Google, if you rank well in the organic section, you can get lots of traffic, right? Well, if you have a community of followers around your brand, if people engage with your brand, Facebook's going to share your content more often to that community. And so we want them to share that content as much as possible. So the better the EdgeRank score that you have with the page and the way people are dealing with on the individual post, or what they call on Facebook when they run ads is called relevance score, or in AdWords they would call it quality score. This is EdgeRank. And how they determine EdgeRank is how they engage with the specific post, which could be how long they were stopped in their newsfeed as they're scrolling down, and did they take a look at it? Did they like it? Did they comment on it? Did they reshare it? And sometimes they don't have to do those things. There's a lot of subjects that we're not comfortable resharing, but we're digesting that content really, really well. So let's say it's something touchy like about a divorce. You're not going to reshare this thing about divorce that you found, right? Notifying all your friends and family, I'm thinking about, divorcing my husband or something like that. You're going to do that, but you're going to read that post and you're going to engage in it. And because Facebook is in the app, it doesn't redirect you to another website unless you ask it to. They can tell how long you're consuming that content, and they can see it all and whether you read it or not. So how you're digesting and reading and staying on that piece of content that you're looking at. So those are all things that they're looking at when it comes to EdgeRank.
So is the metric that the duration that it's center on your screen, or is there another metric that they're using to measure it?
That could be one. I don't know the exact specifics of it, just like a Google algorithm. Nobody really knows exactly how it works, but they're definitely looking at engagement with the content. And that could be one of just like, have you ever looked or even with your phone and you're just kind of scrolling through the news feed, just like your thumb, and all of a sudden you stop because something caught your eye. So what are things that catch your eye on Facebook when you're doing Facebook usually? Shout it out, go ahead. Pictures. I'm so glad you said that. Photos are the most important thing that you can do with your Facebook content next to videos. And it doesn't matter whether it's an actual photo. Ideally, you're doing it as content with a content photo that is clickable, because the ideal goal usually should be for most of you, unless you're a really big brand and it's not necessarily important, is to get people off Facebook and to where? Go ahead, shout it out. Your website, which is your number one asset, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you own and control your website, but do you own and control Facebook? No. We want to get them on your website and into your marketing funnel, right? So photos are really, really important. So you really need a photo that's going to be eye-catching. So one of the things you want to think about when you're getting photos is make sure that it has some color to it. Don't get a photo that has a white background or all white and blue that just blends in with the rest of the newsfeed. Use something that's going to pop, something that's going to bring some emotion forward, going to cause people to stop. And make sure it obviously makes sense to your content. Don't just photo bait people. Anybody ever heard of like link bait or, and make sure that it makes sense. You can make it around the sense of that it's around an emotion, so the picture can relate to the emotion. It doesn't have to be so much on your head that if it's about, employee surveys, that you have to have a checklist with, surveys and stuff. It can be something a little bit more interesting around that topic. So that's EdgeRank. So what we're going to do today is we're going to quickly go through this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time because what I wanted to give you was actionable things that you can do. And I want to let you know that don't worry about writing this down. We're going to make this deck downloadable on our blog. If you go to poweredbysearch.com, probably later this week, early next week, you will be able to see this blog post on there, and there'll be this deck that's on there. So you'll be able to get 45 evergreen posts that you can use on your Facebook page that will work for almost any page. This will give you at least one a day that you want to. So caption this. And we can see a bunch of brands that are doing this. And you'll see here there's National Geographic. They're literally doing this. This will work for any great photo again. They're asking you to do this. They're participating in it. And it's forcing people into doing things that you engagement, right? So we're getting them to do engagement. So this is a great one. We'll go into the next one. Describe your blank. And we can use this for all kinds of things. Timely things like Father's Day. Tell us in 3 words and describe your dad. Brilliant. 1,000 comments. You can use this every year on every one of your Facebook pages. Okay? Same thing. How would you describe this setting in 1 word? Okay? If you're in design or homes or real estate, perfect. Okay, we'll go to the next one. It's Monday. Don't use this every Monday. But it works. It really works. Here's a pug site. It's Monday, cute little picture. It's literally begin every Monday with unbridled enthusiasm. And you can write different things. Ooh, it's Monday. Lots of different things, right? Happy Monday. There's tons and tons of things. Now, you got to note, though, anytime you put text in your image or in your ad, if you're going to run an ad on top of it, okay, you can't have more than 20% text. So this will get denied. You wouldn't be able to use that. So just remember to keep your text on any kind of image that you're using under the 20% ratio. We'll go to the next one. What are you doing? Ask your users. What are they doing? The weekend's almost here. Every Friday you've got something to do, particularly on long weekends. This is great. Thank God it's Friday, right? How often can you rinse and repeat that? That'll work for any single page and engages your users. Holidays and events. Everybody should have their calendar planned up for the year in advance. You shouldn't be figuring out what you're doing, for Father's Day or for Christmas, or even some of the other holidays that you may not know about, right? So don't just think about the common ones that you know about. Move into the other cultures and the other communities and the other religions that you're not familiar with. In fact, there's great websites online that you literally can just type in like days of the year. Not only is there, we'll go to the next one as well. Not only is there, regular holidays, there's lots of weird holidays. I think we'll see one coming up soon. There's literally Tomato Day or Ketchup Day. You name it. There's a day for something every single day, and there's usually several different celebrations around it. Current events. So, Google Trends right now. I also like to use apps like BuzzSumo, and you can go in there and there's trending events. It's a great tool that you can use and go and see what's hot, what's being socially shared on Facebook today. And you could just piggyback onto that with your brand. Well, why not? Go to the next one. Long weekends, we talked about that one already a bit. We'll go into the next one. Friends and family. Again, remember what we said? It's not about what we tell people. It's they remember what about us? How we made them feel. Hey, you guys are quick learners. This is awesome. So how we feel. So how do you feel about friends and family? It's something that usually touches you deep down inside, doesn't it? We're talking about that. And look at this. This is Tim Hortons. Isn't that brilliant? Isn't that what we really do with that brand? Isn't that what we do when we go get coffee? That moment when we need to get out of the office and we say, let's go for a walk, let's grab a coffee. Brilliant, right? And what about Grandma's Cookies or 10 scientific insights about happy families? Who does not want to have a happier family? Just one person. Yours is too happy, eh? Everyone's like, woo! You're like, fuck. They're so damn happy, they just make me sick. Sorry, I'm like that. I get it too. I don't like happy people or morning people. You're like, really? You're that chipper already? Like, we haven't even had our second coffee yet. Okay. Discounts and deals. Who doesn't like a discount or a deal? Now, again, don't always put on discounts and deals. Nobody likes. Remember, Facebook is kind of like a party, right? And you're at the party, you're socializing. The first thing you know, you just walk up to people and go, "Hey, can you buy my shit?" Right? That's not what we do. I mean, we mingle, we make jokes, we keep light, we connect in a different way. And then once we connect on a personal level, we get past for that first date, or we've been dating a little while, then we say, "Oh, you know what? I really want to help you out. I can give you a discount, right? Because we're family, we're buds now. I'm going to give you the family discount." So, you can put these things on there. They work really, really, really well. Okay, we'll go on to the next one. This is one that people don't think about often, but it works great. Celebrations of people's lives. And obviously you can piggyback on that. So, obviously the Toronto Maple Leafs, but they're also talking, going in the past, so it's great engagement for people. But you could also take this to your business page. If you have a Toronto business, there's Leaf fans who would appreciate that kind of content on your site and show that you care about your local sports team. Here's another one, Mashable. They recycled this, okay, a year later after it happened. Today marks 1 year since the world lost Robin Williams. And that was a really sad day. Does everybody remember that day? I mean, has anybody here not been touched by Robin Williams in a film? He literally is one of my personal heroes that way. He's fantastic. But what a great idea to recycle it back. So if something happened a year ago, why not mark it back in your calendar for the following year, and it gives you content that you're done with. And if it's already proven to do well, last year it's going to do well again.
Sorry to interrupt you. Like, if you were to say to share the Maple Leaf thing, would you recommend actually going and getting the link and posting it, or sharing the Maple Leafs link on your page?
So everybody does this a little bit differently. I'm not a fan of usually sending my traffic, because I'm a little greedy that way, to other people's websites. So what I would do is I would go to my blog and I would write something, even a snippet of it, and then link to the content. And then put it on my site and have them so that they can click back to my website, and at least I can cookie them and know that they're kind of engaging with my brand and do stuff. Now, you don't always have to do this. It's not a hard rule. Do what you feel is right for you. Some people would feel like, no, I just want to get the user right to the content and we're going to put it over there. Or you might have partnerships with that content that you can share. I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes sharing with other people really helps. I know in our community of internet marketing, we are sharers. We share each other's links. We mention each other's links all the time. We link to other people because we know that's really important. I go out and try and review businesses when they've done great, because I know how hard it is to have a good business. Sometimes you talk to other people, like I talk to sometimes some of our lawyer clients, and I'm like, well, why don't we mention other great stuff? Like, you're mentioning my competitor? Something that really just like, I think sharing is good. Like, we want, if you're adding value and to your community or your fans or your followers, then however you see fit. I still usually want the traffic. We'll go to the next one. Happy birthdays. Again, even with your own team, I got to tell you, like, we manage some very small business websites, and some of their most engaged posts are the employees when we post their birthdays that are there. And you got to remember that your Facebook page is not just for your customers. Who else is your Facebook page for? Your own culture, your own team. your own, recruitment of new talent. You don't think that they're going there to see how you're engaging with your customers and your team and how you appreciate them? Post, if you have employees or people you work with or contractors, maybe even possibly your customers, I don't know, post birthdays. You can even go off of other important celebrities, and again, this is trending news when it's their birthday, that you can jump off of that as well too if you want to. Local brands. That wasn't a very good screenshot, but partnerships, again, you can see Canadian Tire is leveraging off the Toronto Zoo. So why not partner with other great local brands in your city? Blank day. So this is the day that I'm talking about. There's actually a lazy day. Like there literally isn't a day for every single day. There is a rice pudding day. I mean, I don't know exactly what brands that would be, but this is obviously a rice brand, and they're going to jump all over Rice Day, right? And and people who are crazy fanatics about rice, they're going to go for it. But I love Lazy Day. There's 20,000 likes. Obviously it's Seinfeld, but I mean, you could literally ride off of that too and repurpose that. You're maybe not going to do as well, but you get the idea. Oh, here's the site. I did actually put the resources. So here's the resources that if you want to go and find out, what you need for each one of those days, you can have something for every single day that's relevant to that particular day. It's going to help you with your Facebook posting. Lyrics, again. Here's a health and fitness site, and they're. You guys remember that, or am I dating myself? Okay, okay, we'll go on to the next one. You get the idea. Geek jokes. Who doesn't like geek jokes, right? Everybody loves geek jokes today. It's become so trendy to, my fancy shirt, my geek shirt, right? I mean, we all have them now, walk around. So, why not put your geek joke that's there? That's pretty funny. Okay. Again, everybody's, we can go to the next one. Yeah, that's fine. Great. Again, I love this one. That one's fantastic, isn't it? Made in China, made in Germany. It's perfect. So, you get the idea. And look at this. Did that get a lot of share? Or, there's what we did too, for an example. Like we had a arborist in Edmonton, or we still do, in Edmonton, Alberta. And, they chop down the trees and stuff. You can't really talk about that too much. Every once in a while you see it, but you know what people really like? Gardening. So we just put up tons of gardening tips, just targeted people in Edmonton. And the community on that page is huge. And those community of gardeners, guess who they called when something went wrong with a tree? Arborists, because they built that relationship with them. I had a friend in Edmonton who actually knew about it. He's like, I love their posts, and he told me, like, are they still your client? And he's like, I've got some tree problems. Just because he was getting engaging with their content and their posts, that he was going to reach out and call them. You didn't have to worry about Google. They just already established a brand that way because they're just posting really fun stuff where people are fanatic about gardening. Go on to the next one. Inspiring quotes. Again, works really well. Even an entrepreneur works with this all the time, and this would work for any business. Everybody wants this, 13 clever and inspiring quotes about writing. And I'm sure they got tons of, they got 640 likes and 209 shares just around quotes. Who can't write a piece of content this week around quotes? You can't write down 10 quotes, go to the internet. It's going to take you literally 5 minutes to do that. And it's going to be positively engage people with your brand. Like if you agree, it's a little bit of a cheesy one, but it's still used, it still works. Go on to the next one. On this day, again, this goes back to that thing again. This obviously is around the Jimmy Page page, but you could do this about anything. On this day, this happened. On this day, Martin Luther King did his speech. Whatever it is that you want to do, it works. If there's something that you're passionate about, we'll go on to the next one. GIFs. So GIFs work. So GIFs, you can't put GIFs down on Facebook on your personal feed, but you can't put it on your business pages, and it doesn't work there, which is too bad. And I'm hoping they change that rule, and I'm hoping that they allow this to run ads on it eventually. That would be really awesome. But I think that they know that us marketers will totally poo-poo on that and ruin it. So they won't allow us to do that, right? So I don't blame them, because that we're all going to abuse it. The minute they allow GIFs and ads, every bloody marketer in the world is going to have a gift in their ad, right? It's just going to be total abuse. But again, this is another example of content that's not really that hard, right? You want to create local content for your local business or any kind of content. Why not put 15 GIFs of Toronto? on your website or places to visit, and maybe just one of them happens to be your place. You know what I mean? You get the idea. So this wouldn't take you very long to search on the internet to produce that great content and have that great reach. We'll move on to the next one. Seasons. What season are we moving into right now? Look at this. This is just recent. I think I took this one today. Look at Starbucks all over that. I think that was like, I think I took that screenshot this morning. No, I didn't. September 8th. What are we on now? A week ago. But anyways, it was literally in the morning when I took it. It was not very long after it was posted, and obviously they have a very large brand. But makes me feel great. It's fall. Oh yeah, the pumpkin spice latte. We got to go back in there and get that. You know what I mean? I'm getting that on my break. We'll go on to the next one. So don't forget about the seasons. Comment if you can find. I mean, who doesn't like playing games and finding stuff? Everybody loves this stuff, right? It doesn't matter what the brand is. You can always play these kind of games. There's tons of them that are out there. Help us. A lot of times just ask your customers or your community to help you out. And they will. And sometimes you can run it as a contest and reward them if you want, but ask them for help. It'll work every single time if you want to do that, particularly if it's really specific. We'll move on to the next one. Who will try this? Oh, that's the Alberta Arborist. We did run a paid promotion on it, but look how much was organic. So that was the pay part. Reached 33,000 people in Edmonton, around that area. It had 489 people that liked it. Do you think that they're going to use that brand after a while, engaging that over and over and over again? They're going to remember. Okay, we'll go on to the next one. What's your, total cheese? We're really reaching here, but it does work. What's your ninja name? And people do use it. The radio stations and a lot of sort of the funner brands will use this stuff often to get reach, but people share it like crazy. I mean, 11,000 comments, 42,000 shares. I know it's horrible, and but it works. Okay, we'll go on to the next one. Gesta, again, this is a mall. They're, guess the mall, and they're going to win something. On to the next one. Tip of the day, this always works. I mean, who doesn't love these little hacks that come up on Facebook? Doesn't everybody love a tip? When you get a great tip, how does it make you feel? Great. Do you want to share an awesome tip when you find one with your friends? Is it much free advertising? Be helpful. Add value. Surprise. Make them feel something. It could be, usually good feelings is what people want to feel, but amazing, We'll move on to the next one. How do you like your eggs? You can be a little creative. I thought this was really cute and worked really, really well, right? What a neat way to get something out there. We'll go on to the next one. Polls. And again, here's literally like just a post, just a regular post poll, no image or anything. Obviously, the brand is huge, Wall Street Journal, so it's going to get a big reach, but you usually want to try and have some sort of image with it. But the same thing, which one of these fixer-uppers is your favorite? Again, take our poll. Great. Move on to the next one. Can you guess what this photo is? Again, more of these games. You seeing a pattern here on getting people to participate. Questions work. Great photos work. This is, obviously kind of, even the universities are doing, can you guess where this photo was taken? Which intersection? Okay. Discounts, I think we covered that one already. Comment when you find a very similar, again, and you can repurpose these types of stuff. There's tons of them out there that you can find. I mean, literally, if you go to Facebook and you type in, comment when you find, you will find all of the ones that you can kind of, again, be careful about ripping off someone else's stuff. You probably won't get tapped on it if it's on your site, but again, just make sure you can. True or false? Again, we can see, Gordon Ramsay using this. That was kind of funny. And then, beer, right? And what a great way to let people know that you're award-winning, right? So, again, you guys could do this with your own business. I'm sure there's something that you could do, true or false. And I bet you there's something weird in your business that people don't really know the answer to, that would love to know the answer on, that adds value. Go on to the next one. Sneak peeks. Who doesn't like a sneak peek, right? That's something that's coming up. If you can, and also, what movies ever released without sort of trailers and sneak peeks and and interviews. Like, this is why businesses do these product launches and they add value. They go, here's something cool, here's something else that's free, here's something else that's free, here's another cool thing that's free. And then you get to the end of it and they're like, oh, now we want you to buy this. And you're just like, man, if I got all that really super cool free stuff now, imagine when I pay for that thing, how amazing it's going to be. You know, because you're just building that rapport with the businesses. So sneak peeks about stuff coming up. Infographics always work, but I wanted to put these two up here. This is a good way of using it on Facebook because it's legible, but if you take like a full infographic that you would do for your site and you post it up, it just doesn't do as well. We can't see that in the news feed. We can't see really what that is when we're going through it on our phones on the mobile. So don't do those big ones. Make sure it's of the right size. If you don't know the file sizes, I think that you can just Google all the different file sizes for Facebook. I think there's a ton of sites that have already created that. Go on to the next one. Share if you are, okay, or if you agree, right? And you see these all the time that are going on, and they work well. Look, there's even like a nice little local business example, an animal rescue, you know, locally. And animals are so easy to do on Facebook. I mean, every vet and rescue place should be on there. They could just kill it with, you know, who doesn't love cute photos of puppies? They're gonna reshare it over and over again. And people are fanatical about the type of pet they have. Like, you know, if you have the wiener dogs, what are they called? Dachshunds, you know, or the pugs. Like, people are just like, I'm a pug lover, and that's it, right? So, believe it or not, on Facebook, you can target them. You can literally put in, they're going to show pug lovers, and there's like, you know, there's probably, I bet you, an audience of 250,000 people, you know, across North America who are just extreme pug lovers, which is really neat. You know, we'll go on to the next one. Should I eat hot dogs? No, the answer is no, you shouldn't. Even though they're great, I know they're tasty. Should you wear a man bug? You know, and these are obviously sites that really specialize in this sort of Upworthy or BuzzFeed type content. They've turned it into, you know, literally $1 million, if not $1 billion businesses now with just understanding how social sharing works. But it's incredible. Like, look at the reach that they've had on this. We'll move on to the next one. Weather, right? Here we got Affleck commenting on it, right? EF Dublin. Why not take a local picture if weather's going? Everybody talks about the weather. If you can grab a great shot on your street or outside your building, why not talk about it? Hacks or shortcuts. I think we talked about that one a bit. Move on to the next one. Recipes. Who here? Everybody is a foodie these days, right? Everybody wants a recipe hack. You know, if it involves your product, even better. I mean, here's Starbucks with a coffee one, that makes sense. But there's lots of cool things that you can do. How not to, okay? You know, how not to brush your teeth. Again, this is just a local celebrity of a news station, but it still did really well, something cutesy. It can be personal. It doesn't always have to be, yeah?
Just a question, just kind of going off of Chris's, when it comes to sourcing images, should you always be producing your own images, or can you go and use like Google or Getty and like just give credit?
You should source your own images as much as possible. And usually people usually relate better, and they usually do better. Not always. I mean, you have to be, but people they don't like stock photography, and also if you create something unique for your business, it's pretty spectacular sometimes. Like, I'll even tell you, like, we've been running ads for Inbound Con, and we've had all these graphic design images by our creative team created, and they're beautiful and amazing. But you know what creative works every single time? It was just a simple image from of our audience last year, and it just looks like really authentic, everyday photo, and it's where this guy's just kind of peering up a little bit and has his camera like he's about to take a snapshot, which created a little bit of curiosity, but it was great. I mean, and everybody has a phone today. There's no reason why you can't create your own images. Like, how lazy are you? Right? Don't be lazy. Just take the photos and share them. Okay. Anniversaries, of course, right? You know, obviously the 911 is very going to use, but Fox News is jumping on that, and then even like the Park Hyatt's talking about something that happened 79 years ago. So think about anniversaries, or even your neighborhood. It doesn't always have to be yours, right? It can be something local. People like people who celebrate things that are local. This could save your, you know, this could save your dog's life. Who's not going to share that? Oh my God. They don't even read what it is. They just share it. This could share your dog's life. Heart attack again. Another five tips that could save your life after a heart attack. There's a lot of people in here. Has anyone in here not known someone who suffered from a heart attack? Exactly. Just one person. You're lucky. That's great. Okay, we'll move on to the next one. You know when you're, everybody knows this one too, right? You know you're from blank and from Scarborough when, or from Toronto, or from East York, or went to this school, right? Everybody can relate to this stuff, and everybody can find a play around this in your local community. This is an evergreen concept that everybody can use, okay? I think we're getting to the end here. I think we're almost at 45. Blank's best kept secret. Who doesn't want to have best kept secrets? Here's a whole bunch of different examples of that. Of the different ways to use it. This one is really cool. Domain, New York's best kept secret. That photo, again, photos, right? It's the photo that got us in, sucked us in. The hidden houses of New York City generated a ton of probably, traffic for them with that much social. Cheap air, again, what's Toronto's best kept secret? Again, it's kind of asking your audience for the secrets if you don't even know it. Why not ask them? We'll move on to the next one. Okay, that's it. That's the 45 evergreen posts that you can reuse over time. You got more than one a month to use there. You can recycle them. There's no reason why you can't have great content on your Facebook page that's going to delight people and surprise people and make them feel great about your brand and your company. Thanks, guys. I don't know if there's any questions. Do we have time for that?
5 minutes,
Okay.
questions. Anyone?
Okay, go ahead. And you don't have to. You can ask anything about Facebook or any kind of marketing if you want. It doesn't just have to be Facebook. Any questions? You're like, no, I'm exhausted.
So tell me, is the idea that you're gonna post that and then advertise it?
Yeah, so generally speaking, if you want to have any kind of reach on Facebook, unless you're an established brand, you're probably going to have to run ads to it to get that kind of reach. The good news is it's pretty cost effective. Like if you share the right kind of stuff like this, you should be able to get engagement for just a few pennies if you kind of know what you're doing and target the right audience that matches the type of content. It can be a little bit more. So I find that if I was to give it a number, and this is not hard science, but if I was to look at it, I'd say that right now I find that if you're really good at doing this, and you'll get about 6% of the people that have liked your page to engage with it, but not always. I think right now some of the numbers out there as low as like 3% or none, and if you have no engagement and no EdgeRank, you could post something that's not going to have any reach unless you pay for the ads. It's a paid platform. You need to pay to play. Okay.
Boost a post versus an ad.
I don't recommend boosting. It gives you limited options. Again, to me, it's a bit lazy. I'd recommend that you go in and use the actual tool to get really specific with who you're targeting. So I don't like boosting. I don't use it.
Yeah.
People do it because it's easy. It's kind of like the small business thing. You just click like one button, boost, and you're kind of set up.
I hope this makes sense. But when you go into Facebook and you're searching different interests, you can add different interests or expand the reach by
Yep.
adding different things. Isn't that kind of weakening your reach though? Even though in the sense that, for instance, if you're looking at hikers and then you start adding more geography to it and more this and that, the numbers increase, your target market increases, I think, but your exact market is being diluted by adding more reach. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Does everyone understand? Does anyone here not understand what he's talking about around targeting interest? It's okay. Put up your hand. We're not going to judge a lot. Okay. So in Facebook, you have lots of different ways to target people by age, gender, different demographics like where they work or their job title, and then there's like interests of kind of like content that they're consuming, and there's broad interests and then exact interests, kind of like think about like broad match keywords and phrase match keywords in there. And there's even more options that you get into once you get into Facebook Insights, and then in the US you have even more stuff where you can see really interesting stuff because they're partnered with other brands to give you more information. So what I do, if the audience is big enough, so sometimes the audience that you're targeting, it might be just too small that you have to expand upon it with lots of different interests. But if it's a large enough one, then I actually create interests as separate ad sets. So you have a campaign, and then I create each one as an ad set, and then that way I could find out which one was performing better, assuming that you have some sort of tracking on there. Now, ideally, you should have some sort of goal with all your content that you're doing, and the goal should be associated with the type of content. If it's photos that you're promoting, your goal should be engagement, right? If it's a link post, then it could be traffic back to the site. If it's actually going to a lead gen kind of funnel, then it should be around conversions, right? It just depends on what it is that you're doing. But to answer your question, is if it's big enough, separate them in different ad sets to find out which one's working best. Sometimes people like to do it the other way around too, is they just put lots in there and then they test ages instead. So there's lots of ways to slice it up. Yeah.
So by what you just said that, sort of those ad sets.
Yeah.
So you're doing an ad, so would you then just break your budget down then per, like, what I'm saying, if you had, okay, I'm gonna spend $250 this week on this ad.
Yep.
So you just break it down, I'm gonna try
That's
this
right.
ad at $50, this ad at $50, this.
Yeah, and see which one's going to convert better. Yeah, and then it gives you more money towards. And again, you got to have enough of an audience. Like the one thing you guys got to remember about Facebook is the biggest challenge with Facebook is ad fatigue is a very real thing, unless your audience is millions, right? So if it's smaller than millions, then eventually it's they're going to get. You can't just keep running the same content to them over and over and over again. They will after you get a frequency of. I find even like once you get over 2, 2.5, 3, it starts to get a little tired. Some people will push it harder to 4 or 5, and sometimes you can. It just
What do you mean by
depends.
that frequency?
Frequency just means how many times they've seen the ad.
The same ad?
Yeah, same the same ad. So if you're a small audience, you got to be more creative more often.
That's another question.
Okay.
So you're doing your targeting,
Last one.
so you're doing your targeting, right? And you're saying, so people, if it's a local business you're gonna be doing this ad for, and you say, well, here's where they are. They're in, like you say, I don't know, they're in Don Mills.
Okay.
Well, let's not say Don Mills. Let's say Pickering, right?
Okay.
Because, so now we say, okay, well, they're in Pickering, we're gonna say 10 miles around here.
Sure.
My understanding, or what I was told, maybe it was from one of our event nights here, was really you shouldn't say 10 miles because somebody on Facebook could be working downtown Toronto and signing into Facebook. So you should really.
Sure. Well, test it out.
Yeah.
You can put exclusions as well in your ads, right? So why not create one ad set that is targeting Pickering, and then create a second ad set that's creating the GTA minus Pickering. Exclude Pickering on the other campaign. And then you can find out, oh, they're, you know what, they're looking on Facebook when they're at work and even though they live in Pickering because they're looking on where they want to go. And you're right, it does happen all the time. Like a good example is our divorce clients. Sometimes it's a great way. They work downtown. They don't want to search at home when they're divorce their partner. They're searching at work, but yet they want to use a place that's close to home or on the way to home. They don't want to be downtown, right? So it totally makes sense. You would miss that if you didn't do something like that. So, yeah.
Good listening.
Okay, I think that was the last question. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.